Let's go to our next technique. So you'll notice I've used key lines, and in certain designs, especially the more detailed or elaborate, some designers make heavy use of circular key lines and then manipulate those. So let's consider a few tips and techniques we could use. So to create a circular path, we've got our ellipse tool, and you could drag that from the center and hold Alt and then Shift to constrain that to perfect proportions, and that would give you the circular key line I have here. You could copy, paste in front, and then transform to create layers, rings if you like. Just be careful depending on your preferences. If I click to select, you can see that stroke is 1.18 and the stroke I've just transformed is 1.29. So by default, when you scale like this, Illustrator will also scale the weight of your strokes. So you can remedy that just by selecting both of them and then picking a consistent stroke weight for them both once you've transformed. Or you could turn that off in the settings. So I found you generally have to eyeball the center point. For me, it won't be the exact center of the O here. I've kind of eyeballed this composition. And for that reason, it's useful if you're adding layers and rings, just to keep everything consistent. If you copy, paste in front, which is Control or Command F, and then transform, holding Shift to constrain the proportions and holding Alt so that transformation takes place from the center. It ensures quickly and easily you're working with the same center point, and that can save you a bit of a headache. So you could keep using that technique, pasting in front, transforming down, and you could create something far more elaborate with as many layers and rings as you want. Just remember to select all your strokes at the end and then pick something consistent. A technique you may have spotted I used in the last video was for something like this. I actually had a broken path for the circle so that my type could flow across the middle. So let's show you how you can achieve the same. If we take this version here, and I'll show you this with just a single path for now. So I'll show you a few different techniques you could use. You want to use the rectangle tool and just drag a rectangle to represent the space you want to create around that text or object. And I'm going to fill that with white, remove the stroke, and I'll position that to show you. So this is the effect we're going for. I could remove the stroke from the edge, but I'm just going to shrink it down and we'll just remove it from this path inside. So there are two possible techniques. With one, you'll just use the pen tool. So I'm going to color my block in a way that when I enter focus mode, I can still see exactly where it is. I'll double click on our circular path. So this is now in focus mode. I'll use my pen tool, and you'll see if you have your tooltips turned on, it will come up with a tooltip that says intersect when my pen reaches the point that that path intersects with this shape we've placed behind. So I'll click to add an anchor point there. I'll do the same over on the left. I'll do the same on the bottom left and the same on the bottom right. And now that we've got those anchor points added, if you hit the A key to bring up the direct selection tool, we want to first click away somewhere off on the canvas and then drag and select so that you pick up the portions of a path inside that rectangular shape you drew. Hit the delete key, and it's as simple as that. You've removed those portions of a path. If we exit from focus mode, we can delete our placeholder object, and there you have it. You now have two live paths, so you can still edit the stroke weight, which can be useful. Now there is another technique, so I'll undo to bring us back to this point. So the starting point is the same. We still want a reference object, but this time we're going to select our reference object, hold shift to also select our circular path, and then on Pathfinder we're going to click minus front. Now that's almost done what we want. You'll notice it's closed off these paths, so we now have this portion in the center that we don't want. So to get rid of that, we just hit A to bring up the direct selection tool, click to select the unwanted path, and hit the delete key. And doing that on the top and bottom, that's then creating the same effect. One more method you could use to achieve this, so again we'll go back to our starting point, is using the shape builder tool. So again we select both of the objects, bring up the shape builder tool using Shift M. If you hold down Alt, you can click and drag to delete the unwanted portions. Again hit A to bring up the direct selection tool, select the unwanted portion of a path and delete away. Now finally, for bonus points, if you zoom in, you'll see, although it's not very noticeable because I have just a 2-point stroke, if it's a 1-point stroke, it's even less noticeable. There's not a perfectly flat edge to this path. It ends quite abruptly. So what if you wanted it to end at this kind of angle here? Well, to do that, we'll go back again to our starting point. And this time, and you have to be happy with the weight of your path before you start this step, we'll go to Object, Expand, and we'll expand our stroke. So this is now its own object. With the stroke expanded and both objects selected, we'll bring up our Shape Builder tool, hold Alt and click to remove a portion we don't want. And you'll notice this time, if we zoom in, we have a flat edge to that stroke. So maybe in your particular design, that's an effect that you're going for. So that was a very simple example, but you can use that same technique for multiple layers and overlaps, and you can create something that's completely bespoke and fine-tune it to your needs.